St. Thomas University Digital Journalism and New Media present.
Welcome to this week's Basement Files. I'm Fiona Steele.
And I'm Alicia Wheeland. Here are today's top stories.
UNB helps students dress for success to land a job in the workforce.
And then we'll look at ways to make everyday life more sustainable.
Finally, we'll see what the campus volleyball team has been up to.
Not everyone can afford traditional business attire. Reporter Julia Pisano spoke with a student from the University of New Brunswick on how she's helping her peers dress for success.
When entering the workforce, people are often expected to dress a specific way. But business attire is often expensive, which makes it inaccessible to some people, especially students. Peyton Yunke, a second-year student at the University of New Brunswick's Renaissance College, was tasked with researching clothing programs during her summer internship.
As I was completing this research, I started to think, I think UNB could probably do something like this. We have enough resources.
Through her work-study program, Yunke launched Campus Closet. It's a program for UNB students to get access to free business attire to help them with job interviews, internships, and presentations.
The research indicates that business attire has been linked to your self-concept, your perception in the workplace, and ultimately how you can perform in your job. So these are three reasons why these types of programs are really important, and students we know do face barriers, financial and otherwise, in obtaining this type of career-specific attire.
The closet is located in the WU Center, next to accessible bathrooms where students are able to try on the clothes. The clothing ranges from size 2 to size 3X, both men's and women's clothes. Students who need business attire can book confidential appointments on the Campus Closet website.
And from the appointment booking form that they fill out, I'll have information such as what sizes they are, what type of clothing they're looking for, whether this is for an interview, a conference, a job.
From there, Yunke will select various items for them to try on at the appointment. Then the student will decide what they want to keep, free of charge. Yunke has received a steady stream of donations since launching the project in October. She hopes the program will continue to grow and help students get the jobs they need. Campus Closet is making business attire accessible for UNB students. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Julia Pisano.
And for day-to-day wear, reporter Mary Gannon went thrift shopping around town to look at sustainable ways to update your wardrobe.
The global climate crisis is affecting change throughout the world. This includes a shift in what consumers buy, such as secondhand. Vintage shops and thrifty boutiques aren't new, but they've made a comeback in recent years. This includes Bellwether, a consignment boutique tucked in the second floor of a brick building on Queen Street. Buying used clothes may seem foreign to some, but it's truly a conventional practice. Climate change is pushing many consumers to return to the eco-friendly alternative. Individuals are increasing their use of the reduce, reuse, and recycle method. Science and Technology Studies professor Dr. Wisniewski believes secondhand shops give consumers a variety of options while reducing their ecological footprint.
I also think that secondhand stores can be very important in that they allow people still to have that experience of choice, but to do it in a way that is really much more responsible.
Some stores have a focused approach, narrowing their consumer base to tailoring their clothing and jewelry to fit the student demographic. Customers opt for this eco-friendly option not only for its green footprint, but for its low cost and rich history. Eco-friendly shopping also means finding products that transcend trends. Jackets, jeans, and shoes are all long-term sustainable options. Clothes are not the only items that can be reused. Chase Benjamin Antiques offers a wide variety of items, from old medicine bottles and army memorabilia to vintage cameras and cozy sweaters.
I used to put vintage imagery on my pots, like from old books and newspapers, kind of collaging them. And within that research, I kind of got into old graphics and board games and books and a bunch of things, and I started collecting.
Plord opened the store just last year. He says New Brunswickers are flooding in with their antiques, along with numerous customers that love the unique finds.
From jewelry to clothing to old knickknacks, it's clear there's an abundance of gems to be found, proving one man's trash is another man's treasure. This is Mary Gannon reporting for STU Journalism.
The St. Thomas women's volleyball team showed off their skills last Saturday night when they defeated Crandall University. Matthew Daigle is on the scene.
The St. Thomas women's volleyball team improved their record to 4-3 as they routed the Crandall Chargers in 3 sets. In the first set, the Tommies jumped to an early 5-0 lead with their aggressive defense, leading them to taking the set 25-12. Head coach Don McKay said the team had to go in blind since this is Crandall's first ever season.
Well, because we hadn't played them before, hadn't seen them before, their first year in the league, all we could go by was films we watched and the information that we could gather. So we knew they weren't really strong, but again, we don't want to take a team for granted.
Entering his 7th season as head coach, McKay sculpted his team to be an aggressive, defensive team that digs for every ball. This play was evident as they overwhelmed the Chargers each set. This game gave the chance for the whole team to get involved, as opposed to playing the usual starters.
Oftentimes when the competition is really, really strong, you have to play the ones who you feel are going to be able to give you the best chance to succeed. And tonight we were able to use lots of people and had a lot of success with it.
After the game, awards were given out to students succeeding on the court and in the classroom. One of the recipients was Tommy's libero, Jenica Jean. A third-year player and criminology and psychology major, Jean strives to succeed on and off the court. As an upper-year player, she said as the years go on, she has more responsibility for the younger players.
For them, I had great older players who definitely took me under their wing, so I really want to be a person who takes those rookies and younger players under my wing as well.
With this win, the Tommies improved their season record to 4 wins and 3 losses. They look to extend their winning streak to 3 games as they take on the University of New Brunswick in St. John. This is Matthew Daigle, STU Journalism, Fredericton.
Black Friday is one of the biggest days of the year for retail, and Fredericton was no exception. Reporter Laura McDonald went around town to see how everyone was coping.
Each year, people shopping for Christmas look forward to Black Friday deals. Although Black Friday is typically an American tradition, it still has a presence in Canada. With shops offering deals, retail workers will see an influx of customers, causing the day to be hectic.
I had to work at American Eagle last Black Friday, and then I had to work at McDonald's afterwards, and I was just like, oh, they're going to be fine at work at McDonald's because I'm not a retail worker. But they're a lot meaner because they have a lot of stress on them, I think, because they're just trying to find the best deal for Christmas and they have a lot on their mind.
Acting out because of stress is not uncommon. The shoppers sometimes start fights with one another due to the stress that comes during the holiday season. Canada doesn't have the same crazy deals in the States, resulting in a less stressful environment.
This is actually the first time I've ever been Black Friday shopping, so it's a little bit busier than I thought it would be, but it's not too bad, I guess.
Even though it was Black Friday, Regent Mall just appeared as though it was having an extra busy day. The only store with a notable line was Old Navy. The reason malls are seeing less traffic is potentially because of the deals being offered online. This American clothing brand slashed their prices to 50%. Another online store that is eliminating the need to travel to a mall for Black Friday is Amazon. Anything can be found on this website, from an Xbox to a cat tree. However, getting up early and going to the mall will be a tradition among many families that cannot be taken away. Laura McDonald, STU Journalism.
While some were swarming the stores to get the best deals on Black Friday, as Laura showed us, others took the day to gather downtown for a protest. Last Friday, a crowd of about 50 gathered outside the Legislative Building yelling chants heard blocks away. Those in attendance included Green MLA David Kuhn, Willistic Grand Chief Ron Tremblay, and Green MP Jenica Atwin. They were protesting the consumerism associated with Black Friday and the impact it has on climate change. Protesters of all ages withstood the freezing weather for about an hour, urging the government to take more action against climate change.
Next, we'll take a look at green screens and how filmmakers and newscasts, like ours, use them to create a false reality. Young Jude Jun has the story.
Green screen. Ever wondered where it came from? Well, I'm going to take you on a journey back to the origins of the special effect that made all of our lives much more interesting. The first green screen actually wasn't green, it was black. George Méliès introduced this special effect in his film, 4 Heads Better Than One. The matte technique created by Méliès consisted of layering multiple frames into one and adding or removing different parts of the film. Larry Butler introduced the blue screen in the 1940s. He incorporated this effect in a movie, The Thief of Baghdad, and won the Special Effects Award at the Oscars. It wasn't until 1960s when technology advanced enough to use the blue screen on a higher level. The next stage was yellow. Disney Channel was known for heavily using this method. Mary Poppins is one of the famous movies that used it a lot. The process used the sodium vapor for Technicolor film production. It used specific light wavelength as a backdrop to pick out certain colors. When chroma keying came into play, it was implemented almost in every film production forward on. Filmmakers realized that different colors gave off different effects, and green was the best option. This is when the green screen actually came in. It was first used in a weather forecast on British and American TV in 1970s.
Blast them!
It was in the 1980s that the method was perfected by Richard Edlund in the Star Wars movie, The Empire Strikes Back. He created a quad optical printer that layered shots from multiple reels much faster and cheaper.
This can be done by means of double and triple exposures. The work is painstaking and precise.
Michael Jackson would be known for being at the forefront of presenting music in new forms. In 1979 came out his music video, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. It used chroma keying.
I worked on a film called Side of the Road, a music video for Cat LeBlanc. It looked really cool. I mean, it looked like she was on some weird type of vessel. I mean, it sort of stole it. And it was really easy this time around to get the green screen to work. Like when we shot, we had lots of light on the green screen. It was evenly lit, so it was easy to get the separation afterwards. And in Premiere, it didn't take long before we had a workable sort of piece of video to work with. And adding all the background elements, things are, a lot easier today, I think, with the technology of the software.
Almost every music video, newscast, or a movie uses a green screen and a blue screen. Star Wars, blue screen. The weather forecast, green screen. Katy Perry's music video, green screen.
Yo guys,
appreciate the chroma key.
Some crows have landed in downtown Fredericton to remind us life is fragile.
Gerald Boyer is a sculpture artist from Prince Edward Island who is inspired by roadkill. His peculiar creation of fallen crows is nestled outside of the Beaverbrook Art Gallery as part of the Marion Exhibition of Atlantic Art. Each crow weighs over 360 kilograms, and both are made out of recycled tires. Boyer says the crows are meant to remind people the impacts driving has on life. The installation is called When Rubber Meets the Road, and you can see these crows in Fredericton until January 26th.
From crows to horses, there are plenty of ways to unwind and de-stress, but one way that most don't know of is equine-assisted learning, where horses are used to help people relax and reflect. Hilary Latham went to check it out.
Stress, anxiety, and being overwhelmed. Rochelle Rami helps people work through these feelings, but with the help of some furry friends. Rami runs an equine-assisted learning program in Majorville, New Brunswick. Equine-assisted learning and equine therapy are often considered the same thing, though they aren't. When equine therapy focuses more on riding, equine-assisted learning has clients doing exercises with horses that relate to their personal life. Rami started the program last September, and she offers her sessions all year round. Clients range from those who have some horse experience to those that have no experience at all.
And I have clients that come to me that range from being teenagers to professional adults. I have veterans that come out. I have veteran spouses, family members, first responders.
A client's session can last anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on the client, Rami, and the horses. When working with the horses, clients are given an exercise. The whole hour could be used on getting a halter on or doing an obstacle course. The point of the session is the client to figure out the task on their own with the help of the horse. But if they're really stuck, Rami gives them some guidance.
It's just a wonderful way of you doing experiential learning. So you're learning through your own experiences versus having someone sit down and tell you what you're missing.
And then sometimes the horses decide to mix things up, so the session doesn't really go as planned. So this isn't your typical therapy session, and they're not your typical therapist, but for some people, they do have the same effect, if not better. This is Hillary Latham, reporting for STU Journalism.
Christmas traditions range from family to family and city to city. Reporter Zachary Russell went downtown to take part in Fredericton's own Christmas tradition.
About 100 people gathered for the annual Fredericton City Hall tree lighting over the past weekend. Hot chocolate and apple cider was offered for the kids and parents to keep warm.
Tonight is the mayor's tree lighting ceremony, and it's a way to bring the community together to have a little fun before the Christmas season.
This holiday tradition is not just local to Fredericton. Annual tree lighting happens in most cities across the world. The most famous tree lightings are the Boston tree lighting and the Rockefeller tree in New York, that are both broadcast around the world. However, Fredericton does theirs on a smaller scale, but still amps up the fun for the children. After the legislature tree was lit, the local marching band marched down to City Hall, playing Christmas tunes for all the passers-by. Once at City Hall, they continued to play their tune. Then it was time to light the tree.
Oh man, you lost me there. This has been a long, long time. This is my fourth as mayor, and it's one of the nights I really enjoy. It's a cold night out. I got my ear flaps on, so the cooler weather might keep some of the crowd down. We don't know, but it's if there's a big crowd here, I'll get on the microphone, tell them to gather together and bundle up and keep warm and just enjoy the night. So that's what it's all about: families and a little bit of fun.
After another night filled with holiday tradition, it's time to get your cocoa, put on your favorite Christmas movie, and have a great festive night in. Zachary Russell, reporting for St. Thomas Journalism.
Well, that's it for this season of the Basement Files. If you miss a newscast, you can find us on our website.
For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Alicia Wheeland.
And I'm Fiona Steele. Have a happy holiday season.